You will obey me!
Stop! You're scaring the children!
I own this house! Get out!
Please think of the children!
Get out now!
In a small town in West Africa, there lived a man named Kofi. Kofi had a good job. He worked at a factory in the city and received a salary every month. He had a beautiful wife named Ama and 2 young children, a boy called Kwame and a little girl called Abena. From the outside, people thought Kofi was a good man. He had a family, a job, and a home. But inside that home, life was very hard. Kofi loved bars more than he loved his family. Every Friday, when his salary entered his account, Kofi did not go home. He went to the bar near the market. He sat with his friends, with women who were not his wife, and he drank. He smoked. He laughed loud and spent money like water. He bought drinks for everyone. He bought food for women he did not know. He danced and stayed until the night was very deep. Then he came home with empty pockets and a heart full of alcohol. His children were hungry. Little Abena was too young to understand why there was no food. She only cried. Ama, their mother, would hold both children close and sing quietly so the neighbors would not hear their pain. The school fees were not paid. The landlord knocked on the door every month. The electricity was cut. The water was cut. The children studied by candlelight when there was a candle. Sometimes there was no candle. Ama could not sit and watch her children die slowly. She woke up before the sun. She carried heavy containers of water on her head and walked to the market. Under the hot African sun, she sold water, bottle by bottle. Her skin became dark from the sun. Her feet became hard from the road. But she did not stop. Every coin she made, she kept for her children. When Kofi came home at night, he did not say thank you. He looked at the food Ama cooked and made a face. This food is bad, he said loudly. You cannot cook. You are a useless woman. Sometimes he had visitors, his friends from the bar. And in front of these visitors he would insult Emma. He would laugh at her. He would say, look at this woman. She sells water in the market like a common poor person. I am ashamed of her. His friends laughed too, one evening. Ama put a plate of rice and stew on the table, food she cooked with the little money she had from selling water all day. Kofi looked at it, stood up and pushed the table. The food fell on the floor. The children screamed. Abena began to cry. I don't want this rubbish. Kofi shouted. Ama knelt quietly and cleaned the floor. She did not cry in front of him. She waited until the children were sleeping before she let her tears fall. The neighbors saw everything. The woman next door, Mama Efua, came to Ama one afternoon and held her hand. My daughter, she said, leave that man. You are suffering for nothing. Divorce him and save yourself. Other neighbors said the same thing. Some were kind. Some were cruel. They laughed at Emma in the market. They called her foolish. Your husband is drinking with other women, and you are here selling water. Have you no shame? Ama heard everything. But she did not leave. She believed things would change. She prayed every night. She hoped, but one rainy evening Kofi did something that could not be forgiven easily. He came home very drunk. His eyes were red. He was shouting before he even entered the door. But this evening he was not alone. Behind him, a woman, young, dressed in a bright-colored cloth, her hair beautifully braided, a smile on her lips that either did not understand or did not want to understand what she was walking into. She stood at the doorstep, her eyes moving slowly around the house, as if she was already measuring it, already claiming it. Ama saw her. She said nothing. She looked at her husband, then at the woman, then at her husband again. Kofi did not lower his eyes. He pointed his finger at Ama and said loudly, almost proudly, "Get out of my house. Take your children and go. I don't want to see you here." Then he turned to the new woman and said softly, like she was a queen, "Come in. This is your home now." The woman walked in. She sat in Ama's chair. At Ama's table. Under the roof that Ama had kept clean for years with her tired hands, Kwame held tightly to his mother's dress. Abena, too small to understand, stared at the stranger with wide, silent eyes. Ama screamed. She cried. She begged. She did not throw insults. She took her bags. She took Kwame by the hand. She tied Abena on her back. and she walked out of that house with her head held high. Into the rain that had begun to fall softly, as if the sky itself was crying for her, behind her. She heard the new woman laugh. She heard Kofi close the door. She had not yet reached the end of the road when she stopped for just 1 second. Not to beg, not to cry, but to make a silent promise to herself. He replaced me tonight. I will rebuild myself tomorrow. She went to her parents' home in the village. Her mother cried when she saw her. Her father was angry but did not send her away. They gave her love and she began again from zero. Amma had a little money saved. Coins she had hidden for a long time. She used that money to buy cloths. Beautiful African fabric. And she began to sell them in the market. She was good at it. People liked her. She was honest. She was kind. She worked hard. Her business grew slowly, then quickly. She hired a small table, then a bigger space. She started buying cloths in large quantities from the city and selling them in the village and nearby towns. Women loved her fabric. They came from far away to buy from her. Within 3 years, Amma built a small house. Not big, but clean and beautiful. With electricity. With water. With a good bed for her children. Kwame and Abena went back to school. They had new uniforms, new books, and food every morning before class. Kwame became the best student in his class. When Kofi saw that Amma had become rich, he wanted to take her back. Then Kofi called a family meeting. His family, his mother, his uncles, his brothers, all gathered. They sent a message to Amma's family. The meeting was simple. Kofi wanted his wife back. He came to the meeting dressed well. He looked thinner. His eyes were less red. He said he had stopped drinking. He said he was sorry. He cried in front of the elders. Amma listened to everything. She was calm. When it was her time to speak, she stood up. I forgive you, Kofi, she said quietly. I forgive you for the hunger. I forgive you for the insults. I forgive you for throwing us out in the rain. I forgive you because I am a woman of God and because my children need peace in their hearts. The room was silent. Then she continued, but I will not go back to your house. Kofi's mother started to speak. Amma raised her hand gently. I am not angry. I am not bitter. But I have built a life for my children. A peaceful life. A life with food on the table every day. A life where no one shouts, no one throws the food on the floor, no one insults me in front of visitors. My children are sleeping well. They are learning well. They are happy. She looked at Kofi directly. You had your chance. Many chances. I stayed when others told me to leave. I stayed and suffered. And when you threw me out in the rain, with another woman already sitting in my chair, God opened a new door for me. I walked through that door. I will not close it now. The elders nodded slowly. Some of Kofi's family were angry. But the wise ones were quiet because they knew Amma was right. Kofi sat with his head down. He had lost a good woman. Not because she was weak, but because she finally understood her own strength. And in that small West African town, people still talk about Amma, the woman who sold water under the hot sun, who sold cloths with dignity, who built a house with her own hands, and who forgave but never forgot her own value.